We're so good.
Welcome, everybody,
To the Faith Over Feelings podcast.
If you guys didn't know, I have to take a stand for this one. Oh, I should probably put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
This is our second time recording this video.
Yeah.
We did it yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. And my microphone was echoing the entire time. I don't know how it did that. We didn't plan for that. We didn't plan for that. So we finished it and we were like, okay, let's watch the beginning of it. And it was
really bad. So it was echoing the whole time. And so she's back again.
And we're going to redo this for you guys.
So we thought, what better of a topic to talk about for our first video than to be are you out of breath?
No.
I'm standing up and sitting down. I was like, you're breathing kind of hard. Wow, this just got stuck. Okay.
What better topic for our first podcast episode than to be Faith Over Feelings?
Yeah. So that's what we're going to touch on and talk about today. Let me open up my notes about this. Okay, guys. Faith over feelings. Actually, I think you should start off with that analogy or that story you gave.
Okay, yes. So, last time when we recorded this, I was reminded of a story that I read when I was younger. So, it's a boy who's walking on the beach and there's thousands of starfish on the sand, and he's throwing them back in the ocean because they're gonna die if they don't get thrown back in the ocean. So he's just throwing the starfish in one by one, and this old man comes along and he's like, "What are you doing?" And the boy is throwing the starfish back into the ocean so that they don't die, and he's like, "Why? There's so many starfish. There's nothing you can ever do. You can't make a difference."
Yeah.
And the boy's continues throwing them in the ocean. He says, "It made a difference for that one."
Yeah.
So basically, when I think about this story, it's just we get so scared so often about, God kind of gave me this word for this person, but I don't know them and I'm just too scared. Well, fear, that's a feeling. But when you actually act on what God is telling you to do and you obey him, you're having faith in God. So this is what the episode's all about, having faith over our feelings and acting on what God is telling us no matter what we are feeling internally and emotionally.
That is so good. I love that
story analogy, yeah.
So much. It is very good because
Me
even
too.
though you might think the Lord might be giving you a word to share up on stage at a worship night or something, and you're like, God, no one's gonna care about this. No one's gonna. It could touch one person, and that's
enough.
That's enough. That's all God wants is for you to just give him your yes and respond.
And actually, I literally was in the middle of worshiping on a stage in front of a bunch of middle schoolers when I got that story on my heart, and I was like, I think I should talk about it. And I realized what I was doing was an example of what the story is, because I acted in faith and I went up to our speaker and was like, can I tell this quick story because I think God has put it on my heart. And that was acting in faith. And even if that just touched one person, and that's all that I ever did, and that's all that was the last person I ever touched, that's enough for God.
Yeah, that is so good. I feel like another thing is when we have fear of obeying God, walking in obedience, I think that comes with a lack of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And we really need to, I don't want to say this okay, we as a generation in Gen Z, we need to build our trust with the Lord.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I trust God with my future. I trust God with my family plans.
Mm-hmm.
But do we trust God with the little things also? Like using one person to
Yeah.
reach multiple people. Like a lot of us don't fully trust God, and we don't have full faithfulness in that. And walking in boldness and obedience is just a way we can bring God glory. And that's like another way of telling him, like, oh yeah, God, we trust you. Like, we're giving you our yes, and we're giving you our trust by obeying you and obeying your word.
And I think like this podcast is like literally an example of that. Like we could sit here and go through a million things. I'm scared what if we get hate? I'm scared what if
Our friends.
what if our friends
That was something that went through my
think
head.
badly of us, or what if our friends just have opinions that make our friendship, But the thing is, God clearly put this podcast in both of our hearts. So we're not going to have fear, and we're not going to have any type of human emotions. We're just praying like, God, give us your words and help us touch somebody. So yeah.
Yeah. That was like the main thing for me was like did you,
Sorry,
you
I'm like
almost
about to
fell.
fall off.
I've been looking and I'm like, wow, my posture looks so bad
I
compared
know.
to you.
No, it's because I'm on. Just let me sit like this. This is good.
It's like an ab workout if you sit like that. You're like,
Gotta get my workout.
Oh no. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna talk about. About Abraham and trusting his promise. Abraham proved his trust to God by obeying him through obedience.
Yes.
So in Genesis 22. Sorry, if you guys see me, I'm like playing with this clay stuff. It's really satisfying.
And this is Huckleberry, and I love
him. In Genesis 22, it talks about how Abraham heard from God that God was like, you gotta sacrifice your only son Isaac for me. Gotta do it. I'm telling you. Abraham was faithful, and he knew that the Lord would provide him with either something better if he obeyed, or which honestly, like, what's better than your son? But you guys get what I'm trying to say.
He was having faith in God.
Yeah, and he proved that he trusted the Lord by obeying him and going up to the mountain with Isaac. And Isaac was like, Dad, where's the sheep you told me we're gonna sacrifice? And Abraham was like, how about that? And the Lord was like, wait, stop! Or an angel, or the Holy, I don't know, I think it was God, came down and was like, Moses? Not Moses. Abraham, stop. You don't have to, because of your obedience and because you were faithful and you trusted me, you do not have to sacrifice your son, and you're gonna have more children than the flipping stars in the sky. And that's just an example of when we fully trust the Lord and we walk in obedience and we get our feelings out of the way, because I promise you, Abraham did not want to sacrifice Isaac. I do not.
He probably wasn't thinking happy and joyful thoughts, but he was trusting and putting his faith in God, knowing, God, you have this for me for a reason. So I'm going to put everything, all of my trust into you.
Yeah.
So that I can be blessed.
And Abraham in that chapter told Isaac, he was like, because Isaac was like, where's the lamb? And after Isaac said that, Abraham was like, God will provide it. God provides. And I think that's a really big thing I want to talk about is the Lord is our provider. And even when we feel like we have nothing and we're sitting in our bedrooms and we're like, I'm praying and nothing is happening, God's purpose for you has to do with the process.
Yeah.
Has to do with the process. Just gonna say that right here, right now, guys.
You heard it here first.
And I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, God provides. Oh, yes. Abraham wasn't lying, because the Lord did end up providing a lamb they found out in a bush, or a ram or something.
A ram, yeah.
And all of that to say, when we walk in obedience, it proves our trust to God, and it is just showing that it's us putting our feelings aside and just like locking our eyes on Jesus. And even though, like, the Lord respects the way we feel and he respects our
Emotions and feelings.
yeah, because we're human, and Jesus became fully human so that he would be able to understand how we feel
Yeah.
and relate to us. And so he knows how we're feeling and he respects that, but that doesn't mean we have to let our feelings and our emotions lead us.
Yeah. And just like that, we have a God that we can relate to.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I have these feelings, but God, you would never understand. Like, God
He
came as
became man
flesh,
for a reason.
became Jesus, and so he does understand us. And so I think the message we're trying to get across is not to dwell on your emotions and to let faith dwell on your faith in God.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to share this text message that my friend Evie sent to me.
Yes, Evie, we love
and
you.
yes, and I think it really goes with this whole theme. So she says, sometimes we just got to push through and go back to the secret place, even if we don't feel like it. Like, regardless of how we feel, God is still worthy. And so just remember that your faith and salvation and identity in God don't depend on how you feel about God, but how he feels about you. So good. Pop off, clock it. I just think, like, despite what our human emotions are doing and, how our brain is wired, God is worthy. Like, it all comes back to God is worthy, and there's nothing like we can do or he can do that makes him less worthy. He is always worthy. And despite if we're like, I don't feel motivated to worship him, I don't feel motivated to get in the Bible, like, have to just do it, because even if you don't feel like it, God deserves our highest praise and glory. So yeah,
that's so good. And I want to talk about how it's not like, I got a little slime on my notebook. How do I want to say this? Just because we read the Bible, that doesn't make us worthy. Just because we go sing, that doesn't make us worthy. We're worthy because he loves us. We're worthy because he is first worthy. Like, because he loved us first, guys, this is really difficult for me to say. Like, I have it in my head. Like, it's not going to come out correctly, so give me grace. But, yeah, we are worthy because he is worthy. Like, if we didn't have him, we would have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. If he wasn't with us, we would
not be alive.
Yeah.
And there also wouldn't be an alive to be, because there wouldn't be anything. But anything. It's really hard to wrap your head around, but you can just understand, like, he is worthy. He deserves all of our glory, all of the glory that we can give him. And it's just really important that we do not lead with our emotions, but we lead with our trust and faith in God.
Worship is not about you.
It's not about you. And we are going to have a whole different episode on this, but it's definitely important to touch on right now. But it's like, people will go places and be like, I don't like this worship style. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you like it. Like, all we're doing is giving God glory. And even if you don't think, well, them leading their worship is not pure. Well, first of all, you can't tell if someone's worship is pure or not. I mean, you can tell if it's pure, but you can't tell if it's impure, because everyone has different styles. But even so, if you're like, oh, that person's super prideful, you can still worship your God purely.
Yes.
Even if someone else is not. I feel like in a lot of youth groups, there's and even churches, people just stand and, sing along with it. And it's like, you think you have to fit that mold.
Yeah.
But what you need to do is worship completely purely, even if people around you aren't. And even if you're afraid of what people will think of you. I struggled with that a lot. Like, I would be like, oh, I would really, like, want to lift my hands, or really want to, like, even just, like, jump around, because I have so much joy when it comes to worship. And I would be too scared to, because of the fear of man. And that's something that
you run around.
Yep, and I definitely don't hold back.
But guys, we have a whole thing.
We have so much we could talk about.
Yeah, so much we could talk about.
But yeah, just wait for that episode because that's gonna be really good.
yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Whoop whoop. Okay, one more story from me. Also, wait, first, I want to say, I wrote this down. Some people struggle, everybody struggles with their emotions differently. But that doesn't mean we have to allow them to control us. Like, I don't want to be pointing out, like, I don't want to call people out and, like, you're wrong, we're right. Guys, we struggle with,
We are human. We struggle.
with putting our faith above our feelings. I definitely do
Yes.
a lot.
But because we struggle with it, we also can recognize it. And because we recognize it, we're able to share these things with you that have like been helpful to us in our struggles. Yeah. Sorry, tell your story.
I was just gonna do a quick story about David and Goliath in 1 Samuel 17. And I was reading about this the other night when I was meditating and praying about what to talk about on this podcast for this specific episode. And I wrote down, David was most likely feeling afraid and intimidated. He was a shepherd, not a soldier. He acted out in faith by asking God to deliver him, because when he was running towards Goliath, he said, Lord, deliver me, or something like that. And ran towards Goliath with full confidence. He believed in God's power. And he had, despite feeling afraid and intimidated, I feel like, for me, I feel intimidated a lot by not intimidated, but like, sometimes I deal with putting people higher. Comparison, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was comparing himself with Goliath. I'm just this little shepherd boy, and he's a strong, jacked,
giant.
Like, literally. But he still believed in God's power, and he still knew that the Lord was going to use him despite the situation he was in. And so, guys, God can use you. He can use you
true.
Despite the situation you're in, despite whatever you're going through, despite your feelings. He can still use you if you have full confidence in him and full trust in him. And you prove your trust to him by your obedience and your open heart to him.
And your ability to put faith over your feelings.
Dun, da, da, da. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope this was good for at least somebody out there.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, it was good for us to at least talk about it.
Yeah, honestly.
So, yeah, we just thank you. We hope that you will watch our other videos because we have some really good stuff planned.
Yeah, okay.
Well, God has some really good stuff planned.
Okay, bye.